Welcome back to my channel. Hi everybody. Thanks for joining me. So here's the deal. Here I'll cover up. I'm laying in bed and I wanted to do this video because I felt like I needed to, like, now. This is not a planner video. If you follow me, you know that I'm a planner girl and that I do planner videos. But you also may recognize that recently I have been more and more involved with Bible study, giving myself to Jesus, prayer, that kind of thing. I've always been a believer of God and Jesus, but I wasn't like steadily worshiping Him and practicing and reading and learning. This is the first time in my life I've actually read the Bible. My dad is a minister. I was always surrounded with it, but in a way, I guess I was a bit rebellious. But I have multiple stories to tell you, testimonies, if you will. I'm going to start from the beginning and give a story as I feel that I need to tell them. But this one is when I was an infant. I need to give you a little background. I'm adopted by two amazing human beings, Christian folk from the South. I'm going to leave out like where I was born and stuff because that's just not really matter. Basically, I was born by a mother that had multiple children with different fathers. My father was a child molester and not a good person. God bless him, save his soul. My mother was overwhelmed, poor. That's all I know. I had no desire to meet them. Didn't ask many questions about them. I was a little curious, but I just listened to this story and then maybe it'll make sense to why I didn't really question too much. My birth mom did reach out against contract, and it messed me up for months. I didn't even go see her. She wanted to see me, and I didn't even talk, and I just knew it wasn't right. Because my mother is the person that raised me. My dad, too. People that raise you and love you and care for you, those are your people. Not the people that birth you, necessarily. We can have a debate on that if you'd like. But I have lived it. Anyway. So, as an infant, I was starved because just lack of money, drug use, who knows. I died. When I died, I was on the way to the hospital or something, or I was on the brink of death. Okay, I was starved. All I had was water, and I remember things from that time. Flashbacks, dreams of them. And no one's ever told me because they weren't there. Obviously, my parents weren't there. I remember my stomach hurting really bad. Pain. And water would ease it. To be hungry again. But I remember one night, the pain just stopped. And I fell asleep. I was, keep in mind, like 9 days old. And I felt my body leave. Something was carrying me, maybe an angel, probably, carry me. We get onto this like elevator type thing. There was such sadness, turmoil around me. I remember there were other people in the elevator, and other different ages, some with injuries. There was like utter sadness in the eyes of these people. I remember feeling scared, but whatever was with me picked me up or held my hand. I felt calm. I felt calm. And looking into the eyes of one of these people in particularly, like the back of the head was like blown out or something. It's just fear and sadness in this person's eyes. And we met eyes, and I remember seeing such turmoil in this person, and whomever, whatever was with me covered my eyes and made me look away. And then I also remember things trying to talk to me and that were weird looking, and whatever was with me covered my face and held me, and I felt safe. I don't know what it was. I never got a good look. So we get up to this place that's kind of like, I would describe it as the waiting hallway. It has a left and right side. The left side was closer than the right. The right side went up at a slant upwards. The left side went at a slant slightly downwards, but it wasn't long. The left side wasn't that far away, and it was warm. And the gate, let's call it a gate, because it looked like a gate. It was like red and orange and colorful and warm, and nearby lit up very bright. But it was like a warm bright, but when I looked to the left, I felt anxious and scared and unsure. When I looked to the right, it was a long, dark hallway, dark. But at the end, you could see a door frame with a bright light. And I remember feeling scared of the right side because of the dark hallway, but so I stood there. I remember standing there, and keep in mind I'm an infant, and I obviously was aware of what was going on. My mind started to grow, I guess, my mind, and something was holding me and put me down at some point. But they were there. I could still feel whatever was there. I didn't want to move, but I turned to the left, turned to the right, and something called my name from the left, and it was like Annabelle, and it was kind of quiet, and I didn't recognize the name. In my heart, I didn't recognize it. I didn't feel it was me, and it called me again. I kind of looked, but as I was about to do this, it was Catherine, and I turned this way, and something told me to go to the right. So I was scared, but then I became peaceful, and I turned to the right, and I started going, and I could still hear Annabelle and Micah, no. Anyway, I go, and my body starts morphing into the ages, like growing pretty much my whole life before me. My body went from infant to childhood to adolescence to teenage years to young adult to, it grew and grew, and I pretty much, my whole body I remember at one point, I look at it now, or I've looked at it in the past couple of years and realized that my body was morphing into my life, my whole life. And I remember feeling pregnancy and like, I'm a whale. But my body went all the way through when I was going to die. I will be old, but not that old. I will be old, gray, decrepit, but not as old as my grandmother, who's like 100 years old. But I remember even my body being overweight too. I remember that. And I ended up getting rid of being overweight, by the way, when I'm older. But my body goes to an age that I was comfortable with, probably my early 20s. My body was banging. I'll tell you, God has a sense of humor. But anyway, I remember that and walking down the hallway, and I felt alone at points in the hallway. But as soon as I'd feel alone, I'd hear my name, or I'd just feel at peace. Don't be afraid. Do not fear. I'm with you. Do not fear. I'm with you. So I get to the door frame, and the light is so bright, it hurt my eyes. Hurt. Burnt. Couldn't look at it. I kept trying to, and all I remember is, it's not your time. Look away. Look away. And I was like, but I want to look. Look away. Okay, yes, sir. I'm looking away. I was so defiant. Even before I lived my life, I was defiant. I tested, questioned, Look away. Yes, sir. I'll look away. Okay, my eyes feel better, And I remember wanting to be in the light because he spoke to me and I felt his love and kindness. He said, it's not your time, my child. You're going to deny me 3 times. You must go. And this is what I remember. I'm sure there was more to this, but this is what I remember vividly. I remember being kind of pushed back with a whisk of wind or something. The whole body was covered in warmth and tingles and love. And I didn't want to leave that because I was born into such hate already. Anyway, and I remember being upset because I didn't want to go. And he said, it will be fine. We'll meet again. But you will deny me 3 times. And I remember going, what does that mean? And then I started aging back down to childhood. So as I was being pushed going forward, I was aging up. As I was being pushed back, I was aging down. And I remember as the ages went down, the more defiant I became. And I was like, I will not deny you. I will not. I felt a sense of like hurt, like my feelings were hurt. I felt really bad for denying God and like, or whatever that was at the time. I didn't know. God, really. And it was painful and I didn't want to go and I felt guilty and I was pushed back down to earth. And when I woke up, I was inside this like dome type thing with holes, and I saw these 2 people, a lady with curly red hair and huge glasses, this is the 80s, okay, and then a man with short kind of crew cut hair and small glasses, small people, and just not knowing who they were. But when they touched my hand, I knew they were my people. Later in life, when I finally was old enough to tell this story to my parents or kind of mention or ask questions, I was in an incubator. I was starved, so I was underweight and I was on the verge of death, so I had to be, it was a thing. I was in an incubator for quite some time, but man, they called me a soldier. Although I literally, once I ate, I made it. It was God, though. It was God. But, was God, y'all. But I got better quickly. 3 days. Number 3. Remember that, y'all. 3s for me and everything. Triples. Okay. 3 days. They took me home. And they said, later I found out I was in an incubator. And that's what the dome thing was. They took me home. And I also remember being held by them and going into a house and being terrified, feeling empty. And as soon as we walked into the house, I felt the warmth all over my body and feeling safe for the first time in my life. And I'm an infant, and I remember these feelings so well. So with that, that's my first story. And go to find out, a few years ago, about 5 years ago, maybe 4, my birth mom contacted me. I didn't realize it was her because she called me by the name she gave me, which was Annabelle, which is what the devil called me. I think that's exact. It's something Bell. I believe it's Annabelle. Very southern. Found that out a few years back, and I think that's why I was so messed up for months. I just was taking things in, and this was also during the peak of my addiction as well. Trying to find out where I fit in and all that. Being an adopted kid is hard, y'all. You don't realize it either. Like, I've always been cool with it, and I've known, but it's been difficult. But also saw pictures of my parents when they adopted me, and my mother had permed her hair to be curly and dyed it red and wore big glasses. And my dad was an army guy, and a banker, so he was clean cut. Small glasses. So this failing experience was my very first, and I was 9 days old. Maybe 7 days. No, probably not. 7 to 9 days. And that's my story, the beginning of my testimonies. Because of that, I've been able to come back to God. I've made so many mistakes, you guys. So many. I never disbelieved God being there. I've denied him. Never disbelieved him. And there's a few other stories I want to tell, but not tonight. Not now. I will tell my next story. The next one will be the next one will be when I saw Jesus walking across water. That'll be my next one. I was a teenager. Preteen, 12 maybe. That'll be my next one. So I am giving myself to Jesus. I'm turning my life over to him. I'm struggling with some things because I have a lot of darkness in me. I'm tired because I have not been sleeping well because I'm fighting demons at night that are coming off of me. I pray. I sleep with my Bible. It's like right here. Here's my bed. Bible. Planner. Listening to people's testimonies have helped me it gave me a push to go ahead and do this. And My life is better now, but man, is it hard. It's hard to follow in the steps of Jesus Christ, but I want to. And I'm sharing my story on my channel because I need to. And even if you're not Christian, I do pray that you guys are okay and that you find love and light and Jesus in the future. So, I love you guys. Leave your comments and testimonies below. Till next time. Bye.